Hello YouTube, this is Lightning Masher, um, and these are the three people here playing. We are playing D&D, and we are going to play through this campaign that I've started to create. Um, you guys want to say hello and say your names and who you're playing as, or your character name. You don't have to put your regular name.
Hello, everybody. I'll be playing Dracilian. My name's Pierre. Dracilian is a ASMR gunslinger who is taking off the archetype that Matthew Mercer had developed at the earlier versions of the Critical Role campaign that they did.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Tyler. Uh, I will be playing a homebrew race, which is reminiscent, if not a complete ripoff, of one I found on YouTube. Check out, I don't know who did it, uh, but it was a Spider-Man one in honor of Stanley, and I've adapted it slightly for the setting, and I'm enjoying to play with all of you.
And
Uh, you can call me dude. My character is Eden. He's an attempt at a character with multi-personality disorder. Unlike the other guys, I don't think that I had a reference to go off of. I sort of just... Well, that's a lie. I used some padlock references, but nothing based off of like any real characters. I'm interested to see how it goes. I've never tried something like this before. Should be fun.
yeah. All right, so yeah, we are starting. You'll probably see my map, and they don't see this map currently. I'm on a different map than them. They see this beginning scene of a tower, and so this tower is known as Heaven's Gate, or also could be called Heaven's Tree. They call it the tree because with the clouds that it as tall as it is, it goes up as far as the clouds, and with the clouds, whenever the clouds are around it, it makes it look like a giant tree. Um, th- thus, calling it Heaven's Tree. Um, and you'll probably get an idea of what this game is kind of based off of if you've ever watched any anime. I won't give it away right away. You guys can figure that out for yourselves. Um, But yes, we are going to be playing through this campaign. We're just going to get kind of started here. To begin with, I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody to the main map. Also, I guess before I do that, um, I should go through my intro story. Okay, so this is the story that I have for this. In the region of Cadia, the city of the Heaven's Gate, or the Heaven's Tree, however you want to call it, we will call it, well, whatever we call it. Wherever the tower of the Heaven's Gate stood, towering with its peak soaring far into the clouds, where every now and again you can see bolts of lightning hitting the tower often enough for it to be a common occurrence now. Here, all sorts of races and creatures, and even some that what many would consider monsters, come to fight in this tower. It constantly seems to beckon adventurers of all types to it. It has many levels, but after 1,500 years of people gathering and fighting in it, it has yet to be conquered. Now many guilds have formed around the tower, and this city is ruled by the guilds. There is no actual king, just a stand in, a fake king, to make a show of the city, to be more or less mascot of the city. The real rulers of this city are the guild leaders, a ring of highly trained and experienced guild members in their guilds. They are called the guild lords. They control everything in the city, and all the rules. The guilds themselves also have a guild hub, which is in charge of keeping unable people from wandering in and keeping monsters from the guild from wandering out. So the guards are there to protect the people from monsters coming out and to protect unknowing people or people who think that they got what it takes to go into the tower, even though they clearly don't. Just keep them out, keep them safe from themselves and from the tower. It is a dangerous place, and obviously, people do die in there, so it is not for the faint of heart. Um, and they also help new adventurers find suitable guilds for their preferences. Now, our heroes have finally journeyed to this city and are looking to figure out how to get into the tower. They walk into the front gate of the city, the guardsman greeting them. Welcome to the city of the Heaven's Gate. So, with that, I will bring you to this map, and you can place yourselves. I would probably put it on the top right hand corner, or left hand corner, sorry, where the road is coming in. You can put your character tokens in there. Um,
I do not see the map yet.
you do not. Okay, let me
We're
get.
still on map.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Here we go. My bad. So right, no, left hand top corner, you should see a little road thing coming in. It's a big map. So yeah, so our people are coming in. Now you guys can either come in as you have met already and you know who each other are. I mean, it kind of probably makes sense because you're traveling to seem like you're traveling together, or you could, not. This could be your first time. You guys can figure out how you want to play it.
I don't know how Drastalon and Nomad are doing it, but my guy would probably be right by the gate waiting for someone to hitch through on.
Um, Perhaps they had met during travel. Duras,
Dracilian.
Dracilian and Nomad perhaps met in travel, going to the same location, perhaps, and have formed like a loose knowing of each other, maybe.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
But when traveling with a small to large group, you tend to want to get to know the people around you, so
Yeah.
that's to better ensure your own safety.
Yeah.
But alas, we are at the city. Shall we go check out the guilds?
Yeah. Well, as you are wandering in, just to kind of describe what you're seeing as you come in. So this city is ginormous. In fact, what this map doesn't even really do it justice. Really, there's beyond the scale of this map. There's even more city. At this point, I figure you're probably like midway into the city. Um, there's just vast amounts of city. The only thing is, this city has sort of grown faster than it can develop, which is why you might notice that there is less buildings than you really would expect a city this size to have. There's the buildings that are here look like they have been built by other by whoever decided to live there. They the guild members did eventually have people to help build, but as many people as there are in here, there has just become such a demand that there's like a if you want to build a building, um, and this is just kind of just off what you're looking like. It seems building. It just looks very barren, and as far as buildings, despite the size of the city, um, and a lot of the buildings just look like they've been built um, by those people who decide to live there. So they don't necessarily look very um, well designed. They just look functional, if barely. Some of them are really just kind of more like tents than anything. They're not necessarily full on buildings yet. You do see some people working on buildings, and they look like a little bit more better builders than others. Um, but they it seems like maybe um, there's just a need for a very big need for building um, in this city. That being said, there are still quite a few people. In fact, as you're coming in, you can see people coming in and going out. Uh, and you know, it's you see all sorts. Like I was saying in the intro, there are creatures from every race, every kind of creature you can think of. That even some monster races, some creatures that you would have expected to maybe find in a dungeon somewhere. Trying to fight maybe. You find these creatures just walking about like they are just a part of the crowd as anybody else. You even see a few necromancers with some undead kind of just following him around, and nobody does anything about him. It seems as if it's just kind of a norm. As long as obviously there are probably some rules about it, but it's just the city is full of just interesting and weird things that you you wouldn't expect to see in any other city, really. Um, and as you travel in, uh, you guys, well, first things first, you don't really know where anything is. Obviously, you're just kind of wandering in. Do you guys? What do you guys do as you're wandering in?
Um, Nomad looks to Juraslin and the he looks at the urban, uh, new, not new, but he
Eden?
says, what? No, no. He looks around he looks at the city. He sees the necromancers. He sees the barren in need of architecture, and he says, I admit this is not what I was expecting. And most notably, though, his there's a noise coming from under his mask, like a while
Yeah.
he speaks, similar to how one might expect someone to speak with mandibles.
Oh, yeah.
Was, was that staticky by chance, or was that intended?
That I was making clicking noises.
Oh.
Uh,
Uh, Cringe, I know.
I
All right. But he says, I am not impressed.
I
I
agree. It's
thought
a
this
lot less
place
developed than we had
Uh,
expected.
my,
However, it seems that a lot of the larger buildings are centered around the tower. That may be
Yeah, I
one
mean, and,
intel.
and and to be fair, the buildings that are closer to the tower do look a lot better than the ones further out. Like they do look like they have had someone who has like put time and effort and knew what they were doing to build them. Although not even the best building among them pales in comparison to just the outright beauty of the tower. I mean, not only is it just gigantic beyond all reason, like you look up to try and see the peak of it, and it's far in the clouds, and it just hurts your neck just to try and look at the top. But not just to mention that, you look at this thing, and it looks like it's been built like out of some sort of like precious stone. Like it is just beautiful to look at, and just it's like a gem among everything else in here. Um, so just looking at it. In fact, it even shines a little bit in the fact so that if you look at it at the right angle with the sun, you might actually get a little blinded from it.
So is the guard still nearby?
There's guards walking around.
Uh,
You
so, so my guy looks around almost boredly, walks up to the first guard he sees, and goes, "Hey, dude, you know where the nearest bar is?"
uh probably the nearest bar would be close to the tower there. It's the Red Rock Tavern. It's kind of owned by the um, cook the cooking guild or the brewers guild. They uh, they own that tavern, so it is a little expensive unless you have a guild membership.
Uh, my guy starts to walk off, and then he pats his pockets and realizes that he's flat broke. Or were we supposed to get starting gold? Because I didn't.
Yeah, so your starting guild would have been from your class and your background.
I don't
No,
think I got any starting gold.
Yeah, me either. I got starting equipment.
yeah, so you should when you began you should have gotten starting gold from your class and
Oh,
or
I'll
background.
I'll pull it up right
Um,
now.
yeah,
I
and
actually
then
did
and
get
then
starting
because
gold.
you're level 3, I had you be able to multiply that total to 3.
All right, I remember now. I do have starting gold.
Yeah,
I
What
don't
class
think
are
I.
you, dude?
yeah. So,
Paladin.
Paladin? Okay, so
and then what's your
here's your
background?
starting gold.
My guy doesn't really have one. There isn't a background that fits this character.
I mean,
So
we could kind of make up a background because you were like all over the place. So you could have like a
that could be Far Traveler. Far Traveler is known for traveling pretty
yeah
far places across the lands.
yeah
Oh,
Is being
one
fucking
second.
crazy a background?
what
Is being fucking crazy a background?
With
That
the new
I
Strahd
mean
book, they do have people with dark, like history backgrounds. I think one was called the Haunted One, where you had some type of traumatizing event that scarred you.
that sounds like it may actually work. The haunt.
yeah I don't know how
Cause
much gold that would
I have
I
get.
to pull the book
I
again.
Yeah.
sort of left it up to Nathan's interpretation, but basically this dude's sort of like magically cursed with
Yeah,
just
so
utter mental destruction.
yeah. Um so maybe what I would say is um I mean what you could I don't know. You could still have a background. I mean this could just be like some curse or something that was put on you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your background.
You
You could
could
just
be
have
a hermit. What a
yeah,
hermit's ability thing is that they get from their background is that they
uh,
learn some type of thing about the main story or some piece of lore, and that thing could have been the thing that scarred you.
sure, it'll be between that or haunted one.
yeah.
But
Well, you don't necessarily have to figure out now unless you want. I mean, you probably want the gold, but
well, I mean,
um,
either way, I'm gonna be flat broke. Haunted gives me a single silver piece.
well, it'd be
I don't
that.
know the hermit.
It'll be well, and then paladin. How much does paladin give you?
None.
I posted it. You gotta roll 5d4 and multiply it by 10.
Oh, okay.
That's not that's if you don't want equipment.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought that was the starting goal that you would get from the class.
No. That's so
for
the
now we can
starting
just
gold.
for
The
now we
starting
can just
gold that you get from the class actually comes from the class itself. So if you look at your fighter or whatever, equipment, it will. Let's see here. I thought there was a place. It might be specific to certain classes,
Yeah,
though.
because yeah, each class only lists the equipment gold you would get if you didn't start with starting equipment. So that's what I thought you had been referencing.
Yeah, I thought that it was for.
Yeah, for aside from that starting gold, the only starting gold you would get would be from your background.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah.
Because technically in a D&D universe, like 1 gold is very, very well off. Just having 1 gold will
I
last
mean,
you for a good month or two.
in
And so
Yeah.
honesty,
that's why you don't really start off with that much money.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm fine starting off flat
Yeah.
broke because it actually gives my
So
character an
so I
excuse
would
to do
say
something.
just if you have money in your background, you can take that and multiply that by 3. But um but if you don't have anything in your background and or class, if your class has something in there, then you can do that. But that class thing that you had, I should have um, paid closer attention to that. But that was essentially that is only if you want to not start with your starting equipment, but if you just get gold and then try and buy something for what you want to do. Um, is kind of what that was about. That whole thing's about. That just gives you a boost of gold so that you can get your starting equipment.
I mean, I'm gonna start out flat broke anyway.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I'm gonna start out.
and that's kind of the whole thing here. Is when you're coming into this town, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, and you don't really have much to go off of. Um, you're basically starting from scratch. Is once what this whole idea is, right? So
Yeah, I'll have to implement it. The haunted one background definitely seems like I never saw that, but that sort of perfectly
yeah,
fits what I was going for with this
yep,
character. Either way, that's 3 silver pieces multiplied by 3 because he starts with 1 silver piece.
yep,
So I'm not very rich no matter what.
yep. That's fine. I'm sure you'll get gold as we go. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So okay. So yeah.
So
So
so I realize I'm flat broke. So I turn back to Dracilian and Nomad. And I'm like, you guys want to like attack stuff or something?
I'm more interested in finding the bounty hunter guild. I'm pretty sure there'll be
No,
some contracts there that can make some good amount of profit off of it.
Nomad's like he approaches uh Eden and he speaks in his usual chittery voice.
yeah.
Are you a beggar?
I'll do whatever you want for a gold piece.
He he blinks a few times and then looks back to Drsalin.
Nathan, can I roll persuasion?
How do you persuade my character?
Yeah.
He's not even gay.
Yeah. No.
Hey,
It's
I never went that. Who said I meant it that way? Maybe I'm just like willing to join you on a fight.
uh,
And we've already gone off the rail.
anyways. So 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 what do you guys? Are you trying to persuade him to? What are you trying to persuade him to do?
uh, give me a job, any job, I don't care.
You know what? I'd be down for like some sort of check to see if this man is like, oh, he looks so cool. Maybe he's a awesome fighter or something. I'm willing to
So
give this a
how about give
chance.
it? You can give him like a uh
You can do it.
I would say like insight or insight or uh investigation kind of because you're trying to figure him out. Probably more like insight because you're trying to figure this person out.
All right, all right. 20
Uh,
fucking 3. Tell
uh,
me everything about
do
him.
you do you want me to say it or
Yeah, you might. Well, I mean,
so?
this isn't necessarily about. I mean, you probably get you what you probably get is because this insight, you kind of get the idea of his mental state. I think is you
Uh,
so you kind of figure out his mental state.
I'll I'll say you can tell that all my guy is focused on right now is figuring out how to get the money for a drink. He doesn't really care about anything else right now. But with a 23, I'd also say you get a sense that he's not all there. Something's going on with him.
Yeah, what's his equipment like? Like, does he look battle ready? Like, what's his?
Uh,
That's what I'm looking for. Is he an able body?
he, I, I'd say like the tough old man genre, where like he looks really old but he's still jacked.
Oh yeah. He's like William Hartbeck.
Yeah, but right now he sort of, despite how strong he looks, he is not in any form of fighting posture. Like he's slouched back, just sort of chilling. I don't know how to describe it any better than that.
He Nomad. He looks to the tower and then back to the man and says, "Have you ever been?"
Uh oh wait, there's a tower up there. Wait, what?
Yeah, see this big giant tower?
Oh, I thought that was just a tree.
What? What are you
He
talking about?
Oh no, this is in character.
Oh yeah.
he he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a single gold coin
uh,
and
it,
he
it
says, "Try not to spend this all on booze. Get yourself a nice meal." And he hands it over.
Hey guard, where's the tavern?
He already told you. Yeah, and
Oh,
it's close to the tower. It's a building. Um, let's see. Probably one of these buildings here. Where I'm peeing. So it's just like a little like a little. I wouldn't necessarily call it little. It's a fairly sizable building. How seems to house a lot of people. Um, and it seems pretty popular because when you get close to it, you see that there's just a lot of people kind of going in and out of it regularly. Um, and you so yeah, when you get in, the place is packed. Like it's very popular inside here. There's all sorts, and and they're all just kind of doing their own thing. Um, and then yeah, and you can easily get it. You can easily go up to a bar and get whatever you want, drink, food, whatever. Again, it is a little more expensive than normal. So let me just see here. Um, for you, if you were to get just a normal alcohol, let's see, alcohol and food. Um, it would be. Let's see. So for food and alcohol, it's just normal stuff. It would probably be something like probably about so. Sorry, let me think. Uh, okay, so then I would say okay, yeah. So I would say it'd probably be something like a gold and 5 silver for just a normal meal there.
shit, I'm still 2 silver pieces off.
Holy shit! A gold? A fucking gold?
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
meal and a drink, or just
Like I
the meal?
like I said, this is without this. This is when you're not a part of a guild.
my my guy gets a little bit angry.
And they said to you, yeah, you need a little bit more money here unless you have a guild membership.
Is the barkeep a woman?
Oh no.
There is a woman in there, but you're not talking to her. This guy is a big. I would say this guy's like a big minotaur that's just kind of towering over you, and yeah.
Can can I can I try edging my way out of the conversation with him and into the conversation with her?
Give me a insight check on him.
6.
Uh, you immediately feel intimidated by just the thought of trying to do anything but try anything with anybody else while he's watching you.
I guess I sort of just sit down and stare at him. I never thought past this point.
Okay. So, Dracilian and Nomad, what are you guys up to? Do you guys follow him, or what do you?
I'm heading towards the tower.
Oh,
Okay.
He, Nomad, friend, Draslin, wait up. We should ask a guard about the guilds. Perhaps there's a map we can reference?
You're correct. That would probably be far more beneficial than trying to figure it out ourselves.
With a nod, he goes to wave down the nearest guard.
Yep, and it's not hard to find one. You see, there's they're pretty common around here. A city this size with this many people, they kind of need a lot of guards to keep things in check.
Right. Hello. We are new to the town and are looking, like many others, to explore the tower. We would like to join a guild, but we do not know where they are.
He says, "Well, I can lead you to the place to get into a guild. I know exactly where it is."
Will this be a place for us to join any of the guilds or only a specific guild?
Well, you speak to them and they will explain the whole guild system and everything to you. And they're sort of what we call the guild hub. It's how you really get into the guild. You can't just go to the guild and get into it through them. You have to go through this guild hub to do so. Um, I'll lead you there, and then you can get into the hub. Although, note, I should mention, people are trying to get in the guilds all the time, so there may be a line when we get there. So just be patient.
He nodded and thanks.
Yep.
And
I
the
Any
nodded things as
follow.
well.
Yep. Yeah, so he leads you through, and he doesn't really slow down for you necessarily. He just kind of goes at one single pace. So he just kind of almost like expecting you to just to follow him, or you end up losing him in the crowds. But he just keeps going through, um, and yeah. So he's not like trying to make it hard for you to follow him, but he's not really slowing down either. So you had to keep your pace to keep up with him. But yeah, eventually you find yourself to the tower, basically right next to the tower. Essentially, there is a little building. And when I mean little, I mean it's little in compared to some of these other buildings, but it's um, like a sizable tower looking building. It's probably one of these buildings here. Um, uh, and you get to it. You can bring your character to your if you want or whatever. It doesn't matter. So you guys go to this tower. There's a like the guard said. There's a decent line. It's not as big as you would think, or as he might have suggested. It's still sizable, but it's reasonable. It might take you a few minutes to actually get to the hub itself, and also, I mean, the way this hub is built, it looks like there's multiple people working it. So there are like multiple lines, and you can just kind of get in like the smallest one to get to them. And so it takes you probably a good few minutes or so before you actually get to the guild, or get to the front of the line, and then you get to the guild member or the guild HUD member uh, person, and you see this. Let's see here. Um, you see this tall woman with a very elven look. She just off her look, you can get a good guess that she might be some sort of high elf or something. But she's quite tall for her species too. Kind of towers over a lot of other people. And yeah, so she looks at you and she kind of seems to wait for you to speak, although. Yeah.
He gestures to Jesslyn, being polite, and gestures him to go first.
I'll step forward. Hello, madame. I'm looking for a method or a way to join the bounty hunter guild I've heard about.
Ah, yes. Yes. Let me get guilds. Let me take out my book. It's my list of the guilds, and I will start find the bounty hunter guild. We do have one. Um, and where'd it go? He flips through the pages. Not.
While you're searching for that guild, do you have any guild here that might be uh, working with tinkering on some new forms of weaponry?
Oh, we call that the gunslinger guild. They
Ooh,
they are
I
they are specifically their entire guild is specifically revolves around making and modifying and doing things with guns, even magical guns.
I'd be interested in joining that one as well if possible.
Yes, you can have up to you can be a part of up to 4 guilds. Is sort of the limit. Having more, we might allow it if there's a specific reason or a good reason for it, but 4 is usually the max we allow, only because you do need to have a decent amount of loyalty to a guild, and if you're too um, hung up helping one guild over another guild, it may cause conflict in if you have too many guilds you're going with. So 4 guilds is kind of the maximum we allow, unless um, otherwise discussed. Um,
I completely understand.
so that being said, where did I put that thing? It would have been by. Oh yes, yeah. So our rogue guild is actually called the Assassins Guild. They are both the same in one. Um, so you could join this Guild. They they will. The nice thing about this guild is not only will they give you jobs to bounty hunt, that kind of thing. They also give you they if you want, you can get some training on how to be stealthy and trying to uh, get a kill people easier, quicker, kind of thing.
Ooh, I'm liking the sound of this
Yep.
already.
And they have all sorts of access to like poison weapons and that kind of thing. So if you get their guild, they'll have a lot of the poison like weapons and that kind of thing will be a lot more cheaper for them.
Sounds good.
Yep. Um, Yes. So yeah. So you want the Assassin's Guild and the Gunslinger Guild. Well, um, to sign up to the guilds, you will have to do a mission for that guild to sort of give them your initiation kind of thing, if you will. So before you actually go, um, before you can just get the two guilds, uh, you'll have to start by uh, choosing what guild you want to go with first. What would you rather get into first, and then you would do your initiation with that guild um, to get your guild membership. Um, and it's really usually not too hard. They don't give you too difficult of a task. Usually they just give you, but they do give you a task that is within their parameters that helps them know that you are good in that. You would be good in that guild. So, um, uh,
In your honest opinion, which of the two do you think would generate more revenue in terms of gold?
that's a good question. Between gunslinger and assassin, partially, part of me wants to say gunslinger. Assassins are really good. They do make a lot of money, especially since there are some things that you can kill. But I mean, the tower. I mean, it's always random generating, so you don't really know what creatures are going to be in there when. You could always try and find that creature, but it's random when you find them. So you can't necessarily know when to go kill those kind of creatures. So the bounty hunters, they every now and again they might have a bounty hunter that's not in the guild or in the tower. They might have something that's out in the real world. Um, but they usually are focused on like they have like a kind of creature for you to go hunt, and so you just have to find those creatures and hunt them, and then bring back whatever they need.
I
Um,
see it's a sort of high risk, high reward. There's a chance it
yes,
might not be there, but there's a chance it is, and you
it
get the
is.
payout.
Yeah, but the thing is, because it's high risk, high reward, you know, with that chance, there you do get a good amount of money. The only reason why I would say Gunslinger is better is just because, I mean, you look at any of the prices of the guns, you can tell that these guys make their money when they sell guns. If they are really good gun builders, even just the parts for guns are can run up some good amount of gold. Gunslinger is, in my opinion, is one of the uh, more profitable. Not probably the most profitable. There are a couple that are a little more profitable than that, but the Gunslinger is definitely the one of the most.
I do like consistency more. I think I'll choose the mission for the Gunslinger Guild first.
Okay, I will have you sign a few papers, and then I will give you um, a badge that you'll go when you this badge will when you go to the guild. You will show this to the guild guard. Each guild has like a guard, because you can't just go into a guild building or a proper guild building um, without your credentials, essentially. And this will give you them the knowledge. This badge that I give you is only a temporary badge. It gives them the knowledge, the understanding that you want to join, so they will give you a mission for you to join, um, to possibly join. That being said, once if they for whatever reason decide you don't fit in their guild, they may discard uh, discard you, or just not. They might not allow you to, or at least not now. That you can't. You can if they decide not to allow you in for whatever reason. It doesn't mean that you can't go back and try it again later. It just means you just maybe you need to practice whatever you need to practice to get better at what they need. Um,
I understand. Completely
get,
up to the guild's discretion.
yes, but gunslinger, as far as I know, is also kind of an easier guild to get into, only because they're mostly just trying to find parts, find materials for the parts, and that kind of thing. At least, I mean, they also build stuff. So if you're a good tinkerer, that would be good for that.
I
But
find I'm
yes,
rather decent at it.
Yeah. So they will ask you to do some things. So I will give you this. So you fill out some paperwork. I will give you the guild, um, the temporary seal or temporary. Yeah, I'll call it temporary seal, just to kind of give you access, uh, and they will know to give you your first quest. Now,
May
mind
I
you,
ask a question?
yes,
Am I allowed to bring? Do you know if I'm allowed to bring allies along with me on this?
that was what I was about to get to.
Gotcha.
It depends on the mission. They may or may not allow it, depending on the mission that they give you. Only because some because you're the one that's trying to become a part of the guild. You're the one that has to kind of prove them. That doesn't, and again, it also depends on the mission. If it tends to be a more dangerous mission, then they may allow you to bring someone in case of um, any unknown problems. Um, but usually, if it's a quest that they are certain that you should be able to do alone, then they will just have you do that by yourself. But it really depends on the quest.
All right. Sounds good. And I'll proceed to sign the paperwork as she brings it out.
Yep, it's really not hard paperwork. It's just a lot of signing your name on this and that and the other thing. Um, it seems like this very town, the city is very paperwork kind of oriented. They uh, like their paperwork. Um,
Out of character, it's reminding me of the Ravnica setting.
yeah,
Fucking bureaucrats.
yeah. Anyways, so she finishes or you get your uh, you finish the paperwork. She then hands you your seal, which looks kind of fancy. Has a little gun on it, just kind of little gun shooting off somewhere. Um, and yeah, you can and this seal you can actually like clip this onto your like clothes or something. You don't have to just hold it in your hand. Um,
All right.
yeah, and then she like looks over to the to was it
Nomad.
Nomad?
Yeah, no bad.
She looks over to you and says, "And what guild would you like to get into?"
I would like to join the Monk Guild for now. I have interest in the Acolyte Guild, however. I don't
So
want
the
to stretch myself too thin.
okay, so for the monk guild, um, that's not a problem. Acolyte guild, so you will have to. So that is a church, and churches work based churches work based off of their gods. So we will have to discuss what god you have, and then I can bring you to. We can discuss where to the guild that you'd be best in.
Hmm.
But of the two, well, we what would you rather do first, the monk or the acolyte?
I believe the Monk Guild would allow me to further myself better and achieve the inner peace I seek.
And of course, and so I will go ahead and give you your. We'll do paperwork, and then I will do the monk guild for you. They are um, quite handy. She just smiles a little bit, trying to.
It takes him a moment, like a few moments. He's playing it in his hand, like handy. Like are they good at building? He's like thinking this is what he's thinking in his head for a moment until he sees the smile and he's like ah hand, and then he like does like you know how like
Yeah,
the like little hand gestures in the air, like oh
yeah,
fighting like
yeah, yeah, yeah. She kind of chuckles a little, and then says, "All right, so here's the paperwork. You can write those out, um, and just write your name there, and and then I'll give you your seal."
he does that.
Yep.
He signs all the paperwork. I got to be right back, but yeah, no, he signs the paperwork, gets the badge, and says to Dresslin, Would you like to meet up at the base of the tower after we're both done?
Sounds like a good idea. Perhaps one of us should go and look for Eden too before we meet up at the tower.
Who?
The other fellow who was traveling with us. The one you gave the gold piece to?
The homeless man?
I assume so.
I just
I
need
don't
to
know, you
stay out
seem
of
to have taken it
character that I'm
rather.
not homeless, just very poor.
I don't think we ever learned his name either.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
no.
thought we would have gotten it while traveling. My
Well,
apologies.
I think maybe you got it. Maybe Nomad just forgot or didn't
No,
went over his head.
I'm just gonna say right now that he wouldn't have told y'all his name unless you specifically forced him to.
Okay, then I redact that. We'll meet
Yeah.
up at the tower at the end of the meeting with our guilds.
All right,
Not to go on. I'll be right.
all right. So while you two are doing that, Ian, what are you doing after you've had your sit down, trying to figure
uh,
out?
so I'm sitting here, and I'm getting really bored.
As you're doing so,
Uh,
someone sits down right next to you.
hey, what does he look like?
Well, first he is a she, and
Oh,
she is a large half orc,
flirt,
and she is looks at you and says, "What are you doing here alone?"
flirt. Immediately starts flirting.
Yeah. Um. Well, she looks at you and looks you up and down. It's like, what do you want? What do you want here? Do you need some alcohol?
Very much so. Do you know where I can get some legally or illegally?
Just give me a moment. She goes up to the bar. She
This-
talks to him. You can't really hear her because the noise in here is loud and she's far enough. She's leaning over talking to him, and then she
this,
comes. So you what?
this character is gonna kill me, man.
So yeah, she then takes she then gets a couple of big caskets of some sort of liquid. She comes back, sits down. She puts one in front of you and has one in front of herself. And she says, "On the house." And
uh,
she starts drinking.
I'm chugging. I'm
Okay?
chugging it.
Would you give me a constitution save? And yeah,
I don't think that's a
12.
save.
So as soon as the drink hits your lips, you immediately feel dizzy. And then
Oh,
as you're drinking, the next moment you just pass out. You don't remember, and you don't remember anything that's happened.
oh boy! I was sort of
Well,
hoping this would happen.
we will come to you. We'll come back to you later.
oh boy!
So, um, let's see, Tercillian. What do you? So you are uh, heading to the
Gunslinger Guild.
Gunslinger Guild.
Yeah.
Um, let's go ahead and get. So you probably so she would probably like um, give you like a little map or something to show you where to go, so you don't get lost. Even though, even with, despite that, you do still have. You can give me like a investigation check, but with the crowds around you, it can be a little difficult to try and find your way around even with a map.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Investigation.
Okay, it's pretty decent. So you managed to find your way. It does, you had to kind of squeeze through a few people and kind of not necessarily bully your way through, but just kind of. I mean, some groups just kind of like to cling together, and they just take up a whole area that's just like you got to get through there to get to where you're going. So you try and find a way around them or through them, however you can. Um, but eventually you do come to the guild. um, as you get to the guild, this guild it's probably a little bit more outsider guild. Like I'm gonna say it's probably this one down here. This building. And actually, I'm gonna
Can
mark
you ping it
these.
again?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually put a text in here to name it.
Okay.
Um. And it needs to be brighter color. Why did that not? Why is that so small? There we go. And then I mean, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so
I would like to say that the one at the bottom of the tower in the middle looks like a pig.
huh? A pig? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Why did you
Maybe that's the
have to point
culinarian
that
one.
out? Why couldn't that be the bar? I mean, if you
Oh,
have
I
a
see it now.
bar, if you have a bar
There we
that's
go.
shaped like a pig, that's a pretty good like tourist trap.
Yep. So here's the gunslinger. I'm gonna go ahead and name some of these places because clearly.
Probably be
So
on this side.
okay. This one. Okay. And do guild. Okay, and then do that. What should I call it? The Red Rock? Rock. Oh. There we go. So Red Rock Tavern, the hub, guild hub, and your gunslinger guild. Okay. So yeah, you go to the gunslinger, and like she was saying, there is a pretty hefty looking gunslinger, just kind of. You see this big orc, like full orc, um, like geared up to the head and toe with like full plate mail, and he has this pretty ridiculous looking gun. Like it looks kind of like it's a boomstick but giant. Like it looks like it would be too big. Like it would just blow you back, you know, to hold
Kind of
it.
like a bazooka.
Kind of, except that it's a bazooka with made to look like made for like a shotgun. You know,
Stallone's about to go jetpack joyride.
yeah,
Wait. You said like a shotgun.
yeah.
When I see him, my eyes are gonna sparkle, and I'll pull out mine in comparison.
It's tiny compared. It's really tiny compared to his.
All I can picture is like a
Yeah,
5-year-old showing his dad a drawing. Like, look at what I did.
yeah.
Exactly.
You pull it out and he's like, hmm. He just chuckles a little bit and is like,
I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it, trying to compare it, and I says, "Oh, I'm looking at it, and I'm comparing it, and I go, oh man, yours must be far more advanced than the one that I created."
he says, it it might be. Also, what are you up to here? Are you trying to join the guild? I see
Yes,
you
yes,
have
yes.
see you have your seal.
Yes, I was joining in hopes of getting some guidance in how to craft these. Perhaps making
Well,
better models, like the one that you
well, of
have.
course. Despite being an orc, he seems fairly nice. Um, uh, he says, "Well then, why don't you get in here and we'll get you your first mission? Come on."
I, I nod and I'll follow him.
Yeah. He doesn't really lead you more than he just kind of like points towards the door and like pull at the same time like pushing the door open for you. Um, and he says, "You go in there, and the guildmaster will come and find you."
Thank you kindly for your help, and I'll give him a slight bow before I turn and head in.
And yeah, so you go in, and the door closes behind you, and you see there's actually quite a few array of different kinds of people around here, and so this guild, you notice that this guild partly has kind of a bar in itself, so you could actually get your own drinks and stuff here and stuff. It's kind of like an inn, but also kind of like a as a guild. So you could probably get your own room here or stuff like that. Um,
Ooh.
yeah. So and as soon as you enter, you see a bunch of people just looking at you, not necessarily trying to intimidate you or anything, just kind of curious more than anything. One guy he seems a bit shorter. It looks like more like a halfling or a gnome. Um, uh, Probably like a halfling. He has like a little, well, it looks like a pea shooter, but on his waist. But it looks a little more advanced than just a normal pea shooter. Like it looks like a little more fancy than you know. Um, and he kind of walks up to you and says, uh, "And who are you? A newcomer?"
Yes, the name is Dracilian, I'll say as I give a slight bow. I've come to attempt to join your guild, if plausible.
Right. He he says, "Well, if that's the case, then come follow me. We will discuss your first mission."
I nod and I'll turn to follow.
Okay, and you follow him through the crowds, and there's actually quite a bit of crowds in this place. This seems to be a fairly popular guild. Then again, you don't really know how popular the other guilds are, so you don't really have much context for that. Um, but yes, you travel through a few rooms, and you eventually get to go up a couple flights of stairs, and you get to what looks like his office. It looks very luxurious, but also you see all sorts of different kinds of guns on the walls of various sorts, and some that you couldn't even imagine being guns. Like they look so weird and just kind of alien to you. Like even though you've probably tinkered with guns and stuff, these just look somewhat otherworldly, if you will. Just looking at some of these things, and it looks like it might be a little hard to even understand how some of them work. Um, and so you can just like awe at these things, and they are quite beautiful. Whatever even if you can't necessarily understand them all, they do look quite beautiful pieces of art. Um, and yes, and you see his desk. His desk actually is designed like it looks like his desk. The legs are made into like gun shapes, and his entire desk is built to look like some sort of um like a big gun of some sort.
Like a
Um,
cannon?
yeah, kind of like a cannon. Yeah. Um, and in fact, you get the weird sense that maybe it could turn into a gun if um, like with some sort of mechanism or something. Like it, you know, but yeah, but he just like goes over to his chair and sits on his desk, and which looks, even though he's just a halfling, you still get a sense of intimidation by the way that he just like sits on there and just like that. Just his whole setting, like you don't want to underestimate this guy.
I'm feeling combustible at the moment.
Yeah. So he looks at you and says, "Come, take a seat. We'll discuss your quest." And there's like a couple chairs on the other side of his desk, and um, one of the chairs just happens to be kind of on the opposite side of what looks like the gun hole of the cannon.
I will move to the side of that one.
Yep. Yep. What? You don't want to get it in your face?
uh,
Yeah.
speaking from experience with tinkering with my own firearm that I've created,
Yeah.
I don't want to be at the opposite end of the barrel.
Yep. Yeah. Every now and again, as you sit down, you hear all of a sudden like some banging down in like loud like you know firing
Yeah,
guns, like
yeah,
explosion.
explosions.
Yeah, you hear some things exploding here and there, some pops, and some that don't sound exactly like guns, but they probably are. But you just you hear the racket of them, and the the guild master says to you, "That's not normal around here. You'll get used to it eventually." People like to tinker a lot and test their designs on some test dummies and whatnot.
Oh, you guys have test dummies.
Oh yeah,
I
I
think I
mean
like it here a lot.
yeah. Usually we put that in the basement or underground. I mean, some of these weapons can be quite powerful, so you can't really just shoot at anything. You got to make sure what you're shooting at can at least take it or sort as best as it can.
Indeed, indeed.
Um. Anyways, so getting to your mission. So he pulls out a sheet from his desk, and it seems to have some sort of writing on it, but he's kind of upside down, and he keeps it kind of close to him at the moment. And he says, "So this quest, I do have a good beginner's quest for you. Um, it's fairly simple. You shouldn't need anybody to help you with this one. Simply enough, it is a task where um, you need to. This task is basically you need to create a gun of your own. Nothing too powerful, nothing too crazy. And I don't. And I'm not saying if you already tinkered a gun, um, that's fine. But we really I just want to see. We want to be able to see that you have done this or you can do this. So you this think of this as another way of opportunity to build a new gun, if you will. Um, so your test really is you will enter the dungeon, find the materials for your first gun or your um, first gun you'll build here. That is, um, gather what materials you need for that gun. And I do not want you to buy anything; it will be gathered. It's all part of the test. And then once you get the materials you need, come back and you can use our facilities to help tinker your gun. Um, and with and when you are finished, you will then bring that gun to me. You will also test it, and we will see how it looks, test it, and if it operates to the standards that we are looking at, to our expectations, then we will allow you to join our guild. If not, then you will have to find somewhere else. I'm afraid, but you know this is our quest for you. What
Is
do you
there a
think?
period in which I could reapply if I should fail?
Of course, just get a little more experience, maybe getting some doing some you know doing something like this on your own, and you could probably tinker with your own weapons and stuff to make it better. But yes, if you fail, then you will can reapply. Just but there is a like a what you would call like a 1 month period where you will have to um, wait before you reapply, just so that we know that you at least tried to had some time to improve.
I see, I see. All right. Huh. It doesn't seem too difficult a task. I mean, I've managed to create one already. I should be able to create another.
Indeed.
Is there any specific design you are looking for in terms
No,
of
you
renewal?
like I said, you don't you really, right now you can just do a simple gun. You don't need any. I won't give any real specifications. In fact, instead, he like finally brings this sheet over to you so you can look at it, and he says, "These are the ingredients you can expect to find in the first dungeon, and until you have completed this quest, you really can't. You won't be able to. You won't be allowed to go any further than the first dungeon. So
Okay.
these items you can find in the first dungeon.
Oh, that
Um,
makes this easier.
yeah. So now again, obviously you probably know that the tower is at random. So whether you find these in your trip or not may or may not happen. That's okay. This quest does not really have a time limit. It's when you get it done, you get it done. We understand that tinkering guns, making guns is an art, and it does take time and effort to make it work for you. So don't be afraid to take as much time as you need to create what you're looking for. After all, we want the best, not just fast.
Agreed. One other question. It's to my understanding that we must pay to enter the tower. Will I be granted free entry for the
Yeah,
times that I'm
for
gathering?
the first floor, it is free entry. We will allow you for free
Okay.
entry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And while you are part of our temporary, we will give you a room, but it won't be your own room. You'll be a part of some other Stardy members, so you'll be a bunk quarters. So you'll have to share a bunk bed with someone. Um, but if you are okay with that, you have a sort of room to yourself.
That's fine by me.
All right. We will discuss later. You go ahead and take that sheet, and we will discuss everything later.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
All
I'll
right.
give a slight bow as I get up and start to head out.
Yep. And he like follows you behind to kind of help kind of show you out. Um, and really he actually just kind of really he just kind of follows you down through back to the bar and goes back to what he was doing before. Um, so yeah. So now you are done with your thing. So while that's happened, Nomad, you back?
Yes, I
Okay.
am here.
So he went to his gunslinger, so we'll now go to you. You head to the monk monastery, and I am going to say, yeah, put this one as a monastery. I'm going to put the name there. So monk. Okay, you should see the
Just
name. The monk monastery is right next to the tower. Really, is this one right here.
all right. Let me just move my guy over.
Yeah, and there is bridges across this water. It's just I didn't forgot to put them in. Um, and these are like full fledged rivers. Like these aren't just a little stream. Like you can actually see boats coming in and doing their business. So yeah. So what was it?
Yep, the
Yep.
monks monastery.
All right. Yeah. So you come to the monks. The first monk. You see a quite um, quite tough looking monk that is that is watching the people who come in. Only monks, proper monks can come in, or guilds monks for this. And he looks at you, and says, are you a new guild member?"
I'm trying to be. And he shows the badge that was hooked to his outfit.
Yeah. And this person looks at you and says, "Ah, nice to. I see you have the badge. Good. Well, let me show you into the door, and as soon as you get in, there will be a member to the right that um, you will show your badge to, and then she will find you the guild member or guild master. She'll bring you to the guild master, and with that, and that guildmaster will then give you your first quest.
Thank you. He like bowed politely.
Yep. She bows back, or he bows back, and then like bring opens the door for you, lets you in.
He enters and his eyes look around to the area to see
Yeah.
what exactly is going on here.
So you look inside this place, and it is quite big. I mean, it's a monastery. Like this place is, well, it's a monastery. It's huge. Despite, I mean, the um, like it's not much size as far, or it's not a big size as far as like a square footage, I guess you could say. It's more of a big size in height. Like this thing goes up far, like a few hundred or so feet at least, probably more. Um,
Damn.
yeah, and some parts of this the monastery is like there's a section in the monastery where you can see from the bottom, like you can be on the bottom floor and look all the way to the ceiling, all the way to the top ceiling, and you just get this grand perspective of like how you look like an ant in this place, you know?
This fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So and so that area, that same area, also has like a spiral, like not really staircase, more of like a ramp, this spiral ramp that goes up the outside walls, kind of. And you see that there's a lot of monks that are kind of spiral, just kind of doing their thing. They're in the main area that you come into, though. You actually see not really a bar, but kind of like a just like a dining area, I guess you would call it. Just like a place for the monks to eat and drink and whatever, hang out, do do their stuff. Um, and then and as you come in, also the monk to your right immediately says, "It is nice to meet you. Would do you have a member badge?"
He has the badge just clearly
I
pinned to his outfit. He does say, I do, and would I heard you will guide me to the guild leader.
he looks at you and or she looks at you and says, "Of course. Um, I will lead you to the guild master. Um, just follow me." She starts leading you off. And as you could probably expect, the guild master is at the top of this tower of this place, so it takes a while. I mean, there's no quick way up this ramp. As a monk, are they want you to be fit as possible. So if you know you have to keep this ramp is sort of their way of keeping you fit, so to speak.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. So you climb up this ramp, and I mean, depending, you could do me like a con save or strength save to kind of or check to not really a save, a check just to kind of see how well you can, or athletics. I guess athletics would probably be good here. You do athletics check to kind of give me a see if you get too tired by the time.
Hey.
Ooh.
Uh,
Um.
God damn it. It's stairs, my dude.
Actually, it's not even stairs. It's just a ramp.
I mean, my dude does have spider climb.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that does help. It does help, but I mean, it's like 300, 400. It's several hundred feet up. So even with your climbing, it's like you feel it by the time you get to the top. You start panting pretty good. Yeah, yeah. You get to the top, but by the time you get to the top, you're just like out of breath and just like sweating all over, and just you feel miserable.
So normal heavy breathing is pretty bad, but with his mandibles, they
Mhm.
sort of open up under his mask, and it's just
Yeah, yeah, yep. So yeah. So and then she says, "Okay, let me open the door for you. Oh, you seem quite tired. I'll see if I can get someone to get you some water. We'll and you can so you can rehydrate.
At least you didn't get roofied, Typler.
No, it's all right. I'm fine. I do not need water. I thank you though.
If that's what you say, okay. And she just wanders off, and you can go into the door.
With dry mandibles, he continues forward.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah. So you go into the door, and inside you actually see this room is quite big itself, and the monk that you see sitting in the chair looks like a storm giant. He is. You look at him, and then you have to look up at him, and it's like, hello, like he's just towers over everything.
he approaches and politely though some distance and takes his bow and says, "I have recently tried to join the guild, as you know, of course. Uh, I think there's a mission."
He says you are. He looks at your badge and says, "Yes, for newcomers, we do have a beginner mission. Please take a seat, and I will go over what you can do for us."
He
And you see, there's a large seat, and then there's a smaller seat for normal people, but then there's like the large seat for other giants, possibly.
Mhm. He sits in the giant chair.
You had to climb up to get into it, but yeah. But I guess you can just climb naturally,
Yeah,
so that's it.
he
Yeah,
just like climbs up on
yeah,
it. It's down.
yeah. So immediately he looks at you and says, "That seems you have some talents."
He nods and says, "Thank you."
Yeah, and then he says, and then he opens some large drawer that is fit to his size, and brings out a piece of paper which is also fit to for his size. So to you, it looks like a just big tapestry. Kind of looks like. Um, and he looks at this big note, and says, "Okay, so our mission that you would be doing for us, um, we would like to you to we would actually like you to help us find a certain person, a certain member of our guild. They are uh, they have found themselves in the guild or in the tower in a not in one of the I think it's the second floor they have found themselves in. They are they seem to be trapped there. They aren't able to get out for some reason. Not due to any monsters, I don't believe. I think it's the tower has seemed to trap them. Not they aren't going to die immediately. From what I have gathered, they seem to be just stuck in a place they can't get out of. And what I would like you to do, you along with a couple other of our members, would go to the second floor, and you would uh, try to extract this monk and bring him back to the monastery. I'm sure by now he is quite thirsty and hungry. It's been a couple days since he's been in there. Um, it's fortunate that he hasn't come into any monsters that are would kill him. Um, but yeah, as soon as we can get to him, it would be best. So you will be our helping with this first, uh, helping with a couple members, and by this, these members will then tell us whether you are fit for our guild or not.
He uh, he nods and he says, "When do we leave?"
Uh, we as soon as possible would be best. The guild I do have the monks are preparing as we speak, so as soon as you are able, you can go down and meet them, and they will give you what things you might need to survive getting to the second floor. As long as you're with them, you should have no problems dealing with any monsters that you would contact. Just try not to get separated, and you should be fine. Um, and as long as you're with them, you will have access to the tower without having to pay anything. Um, just again, don't get lost from them.
He nods and he states, I have a traveling companion I was with. I do not believe I will need their assistance here, but they are trying to join another guild. If our would he be able to go in with us? Or
If he has access to that level, then yes. But different guilds have different abilities to give access. It depends on their mission. If they do not have access to the floor that you are going to, then he may not be able to help you.
unfortunate. Well, I understand regardless. Thank you.
Yes. Well, as long as you have those monks, you should be fine. But yes, please hurry back down. They should be in the second rung. And when I say second rung, it's going to be like yeah, the second spiral really, the second layer of the
Like,
spiral.
right.
Um, you'll probably see um, there's like a door that's actually still. He says there's a door that's still open. They don't. Uh, they are preparing inside there to getting their supplies there. It's the supply room really. Um, you can go down to there. You should be able to see. It should be quite obvious where they are. They'll be in there getting ready. I will give a message to them. I'll send a message. In fact, I'll give you this. And he rolls up this big tapestry. And he rolls it up in a way that you can still carry it, despite the size. Although it's not too heavy, but it's there's a little bit of weight there.
Right. It's like a giant scroll.
Yeah, yeah.
Map.
So you get that, and you bring that, and he says you just show that to them, and they will see it. They will know to allow you to join them.
Hmm. Once more, thank you. Uh,
Of course,
may
and
the
I do hope that you are able to be successful. It would be nice to have another member.
Now you get to slide down the stairs.
I I'm going to be honest. My heritage, as you can tell with the clicking, isn't natural. It is good to see a, a giant, let alone have such be the guild leader. It is inspiring.
He says, "Yes, you do not need to be afraid of who you are here. There are many that you may see that are not of what some might consider normal. But I mean, who's to say who's normal?
He nods and goes to take his leave.
Okay." And he nods. He kind of nods back and says, "Be peace be with you."
Peace be with you. And then he continues down.
Yep.
Hey, Typler, how are you gonna go down the slope?
I mean, it's not that. It's not like it's that steep of a slide. Like you
Aw,
probably like
dang! I thought it was like 45 degrees
no.
Um,
It,
the whole way up.
he will. He would just walk. I mean, at
yeah,
a normal pace at which he did going up there. It is.
yeah, yeah,
Well, he's not gonna, climb down the walls or just like flex a spiderness just to flex it. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you head back down there. It takes a little while. It's not quite as tiring going down as it is going up. Although I guess some people might say it going down is worse than going up sometimes. Um, but you eventually get down there. The unarmored. Um, you eventually get down there. and you see it, their supply room, and it's not really you don't. There are a couple weapons in there, but it's mostly like like um like potions and that kind of gear that stuff to aid like bandages and other things to help ropes, that kind of thing. Things to help with that specific kind of task that you go into.
Right.
Um, so yeah, you go in there. The first person comes to meet you, and you see this first person is like probably um you probably see this like one of those, what do you call those, the
Turtle.
no, like those cat creatures, what do you call those
Oh,
things?
tabaxi.
Yeah, tabaxi. You see that the first one that comes up to you is a tabaxi, and see greets you with a kind of like a purring like, "Hello there. Are you are you gonna be joining our group here?"
He nods and hands over the large paper.
And
I
he takes it from you, and he says, uh, Terrace." He looks back to someone who looks a little bit more like a giant than him. In fact, this guy looks like a fire giant. Um, and he takes the he Tabaxi says, "You might have a better way of. You might be better at using this than or opening this up than I am. You're a little bit to the sides." And the fire giant looks at him and looks a little annoyed because he's size thing, but he's not. He's like, he doesn't hold a grudge. He's just like, okay, of course. Let me see. And he takes the scroll, rolls it out, and he looks at it, says, "Well, it looks legit to me. We'll just have to give this to the guard when we get to the tower, but we should be able to get you on the go. Um, you can now. Why don't you come in and we'll get you some gear to help you on your way. Uh, if we get into any fighting, we will probably be the front line. So just if anything comes through, then obviously you can do what you can do to take care of yourself. But um, we understand that you're a beginner. You might not be quite as ready."
Uh, and then he says, I'm prepared.
I am prepared to go to the second level. I am. I may be. I may need some supplies. Let it be potions or such, but
Yeah,
I
and
believe
the,
I can handle myself.
yeah, and as you're saying, so as soon as you say that, the tabaxi comes back to you and says, "If you look over to that table, you'll see there are There's a few potions still left. You can take a couple of those. Those are just a normal health potion. They should help you. Also, if you have any need, um, we also have a couple of." And he pulls out a couple of what looks like some sort of yellow potion, and he says these are specific to our monk people. You know how you're low. You know how you have those monk point things.
Key.
Uh, yes, this will help you gain a point back. Um, so you can bring it back a point for your monk's abilities.
It's really useful.
Yep. Yeah, you could get a couple of those, and other than that, well, you can also if you want, we do have a couple of pieces of gear that are free. If you, I mean, not free. You'll have to bring them back once you're done with our mission. But they are for anyone who needs something on the go. There is a quarterstaff, and then there's a what we call a cat claw, and it's just a form of fist weapon.
Um, how uh, how would this affect my unarmed? Just for
It
like
it, it,
OSU.
it actually works with your unarmed. This kind of So it's designed to basically, basically it's like a, like brass knuckles or something like that, where it's designed so that it doesn't really affect, it doesn't stop you from being able to do your unarmed thing. It just gives you a little bit of a bonus for that attack,
Hmm.
if anything. So like the claw thing, instead, so your what it would normally be what bludgeoning damage that it would do to the um,
Something
let me
like
see.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it do like a 1d4 bludgeoning damage or something like that. Well, the claw he mentions it does it'll turn your bludgeoning into piercing damage, and it'll give you it'd be a 1d6 instead of 1d4.
Yes. He will nod and go to ready himself for
Yep,
these. As
and
thank
it's
you.
kind of what you expect. It's a claw that's put onto your, like a glove essentially with claw on it.
Like a
Yeah.
glove.
Yep.
Um. How many potions of each do I get?
You got so you can have up to 3 health potions, and then 2 of the yellow. I'm gonna call them monk potions because they specifically for the monk.
Yeah, monk potion. I got you.
Yeah, monk juice.
Milk juice.
Uh,
1 health potion. No, 3 health potions. 2 key potions.
yep, key potions. Yeah, there we go.
He gets ready.
Yep. All right. So now that you've gotten your mission and you're about ready to go, gunslinger Drezian has done the same kind of thing. So while you guys have done that, where dude, where'd you
I
go?
I meant to close a tab and accidentally exited out of Chrome. My bad.
Yeah, whoops. Okay, well, yeah. So Eden.
Uh,
So,
this is
uh,
pretty fun. They're
so
joining guilds, and I got roofied my first day.
just go ahead and give me another Constitution save. Just 13. Okay. So you don't remember anything that happened before this. At least not. You
Uh,
remember coming into the city, but beyond that, everything is kind of a
I,
blank.
uh, I don't remember anything, anyways.
Yeah,
Uh, I wake with a completely new persona.
I see. Well, anyways, um, so yeah, so you wake. You are. You look around. You are completely naked. You are tied to some sort of post in a
The
dark.
fuck did I miss?
So look like.
That's what I'm thinking.
So you're tied to a post. Your hands are kind of strapped on behind you. It's kind of painful, really, because the way your arms are just kind of tied behind you around this post. Um, and you are stuck in this dark room, just kind of looking at, well, darkness. Really, you don't really see the walls. It's just too dark. Do you have what? Does your character have any
I
dark?
have dark vision,
You
60
do.
feet.
Okay, well, yeah. So I would say that even with dark vision, it's a little hard to see. Just because dark vision needs some. What was it? Even with dark vision, it's what, like
Or
black and white or something.
I see dim light and darkness. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but it's like black and white or something like that. I think.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Yeah. So yeah, you see around, but it's not very clear. You can maybe make out a wall somewhere, but it doesn't. You can't really see
So
anything in
so
particular.
not remembering anything, I wake up, figure out what's going on, and go, Jesus fuck, buy me dinner first.
Yeah.
Not knowing that that's what actually happened.
Yeah. Um. As you wake up and look around, um, all of a sudden you hear a weird noise coming from somewhere. It almost sounds like it's coming from underground, almost like underneath your feet, kind of. And then um, you see a hand pop out of the ground. Not just any hand. It looks like a skeletal in nature. Like it looks like a skeleton hand that pops out of the ground. Um, and then you see another one right next to it pop out, kind of the same way. And essentially, you just see the skeleton kind of pop out of the ground and and rise up and look at you. And then another one kind of pops up next to it, and then another one does the same next to that one, and it keeps kind of doing this until you notice that the room isn't full of them, but there's definitely a good number of these skeletons that are just now.
Are they aggressive or docile looking?
They look. You can't really tell. They're just standing there looking at you. Whether it's mad or angry or hateful or anything like that, you just can't tell. They don't have a good like face feature to really give you an idea.
Well, if
Um,
I die here, at least I can say I had the most interesting start to my character.
um, well, as you're thinking those thoughts, you see a door finally open up from somewhere, and a light appears in, and you see a dark figure walk in, and could you give me a insight check really quickly? Just yeah. So you don't remember anything. Okay. So you see
What?
this tall figure um come in, robed up in this black outfit, and you can tell just from her you can her face. I guess with dark vision you might be able to see her face just slightly. Um, but you can get the idea that this might be some sort of like orc or half orc, but it's kind of hard to make out just because the lighting is not good. Um,
Let me
and
guess. I stole your treasure hoard.
she says, eh, "Don't be silly. We are not that petty. Uh, you just happen to walk in the right place at the right time, or I guess yeah, right place, right time
Right place, right time. Then why the fuck am I strapped to a pole naked?
to make sure you don't move, and there is an incentive to make sure you don't escape." And as she points to the skeletons,
At least get some cloth.
not yet. We'll get to that.
Oh.
First, we would like to see if you are even willing to hear our proposition.
I mean, I don't think I have any other choice.
Okay. Well, we would like you to join our guild. But I do know that people may have a hard time with just accepting something like this. And you might wonder if you want if we're trying to make you have you join our guild, why tie you up like this? Well, you might understand once I tell you about our guild. I mean, you probably get the idea just by looking at these skeletons.
Yeah. This isn't the weirdest thing I've woke up to.
Hmm, amusing. But yes, so would you please would you be willing to work for our guild?
For beforehand, who are you?
You may call me the Grog Master.
Hmm. Well, that explains why I got this big fucking headache.
I mean, You were looking for a beer, and you didn't seem to say no to anything.
I'm non-alcoholic.
Well, your last character, your last personality was.
What personality? Hmm.
Oh, you don't know. Hmm. Well, that'll be fun. Anyways, would you are you going to join or not?
Join what? Exactly.
Uh,
Instead of
our necromancy guild. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I mean, there's all these skeletons. I would assume you would have figured it out by now, but yeah, I guess you need some people
eh,
need it explained.
either necromancy or some cult shit. Uh, well, there's one problem. I don't know shit about necromancy.
That's no problem. There's ways around you know the dead being dead. You don't have to have you don't have to be a mage necessarily to have undead. You just have to have certain items that help you with it.
Long as there's treasure.
Oh, oh, don't worry about that. I mean, treasure is just kind of comes with the old thing. I mean, you, our whole mission is really just to try and, I mean, like anybody else, try and see how far we can get in the tower. Except that we would like to see if we can, except we like the undead. So we like to use our undead to create armies to try and force our way through. So far, we haven't gone very far. We've gotten to about level 15, but you know that being said, it's only because we haven't had any real good necromancers. But we figure that maybe someone with a new perspective, and we don't necessarily expect you to understand everything that we're doing. Again, right now you are just our pawn, if you will. I mean, the thing is, if you say no, then you probably get the idea of what might happen to you.
I was about to say, what happens to the people that don't accept this proposition?
Well, fortunately for you, if you don't accept, then we have a good alternate idea to for you. Either way, we're gonna get something good out of you.
I mean, I'm only conscious one day of the week, I guess, so might as well.
Well, it should be fine. You can be our part of our necromancers, and you will still be able to do stuff outside, but just know that we are watching and we are everywhere. So you can't just run away. You won't be able to.
So let me see. Are you just a gray area, or are you all like evil fuckers?
Hmm. I guess it depends on how you look at us. But to each his own. Some are a little bit more hostile than others, and um we do have rules. It's not like we're ruleless. We do have a limit to our what people do. Like, I mean, for instance, we are focused on the tower. We don't really wish to hurt the people around us, but in every once in a while, when we feel like we might want someone to join our guild, we do like we did here and see if we can get a guild member. A lot of people don't really like to just join our guild, and as our guild isn't as popular as some people might like to think. Um,
This guild sounds desperate.
yeah, well,
Drasselin, she pinned me to a pole to tell me about this. I don't think that that's part of the question anymore.
yeah.
Did you miss? What was the last thing you heard? Because a lot happened.
Them pinning you to the pole, but it's cool. I could catch up later when it gets on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
basically, I'm being forced to join a guild against my will, I'm pretty sure. And my guy absolutely don't care. I mean, whatever makes me money.
Yep. So yeah, so she looks at you. Well, in that case, if you are willing, then I can let you free. Though, just remember we are watching.
I have my clothes back now.
Oh yes. Here. And she pulls out a bag and pulls out some clothes, and they look familiar to you, but they do look like they might have done something to them a little bit, marked them.
Could I do like Arcana or something to see if I could figure it out?
Yeah, you could do an Arcana check or investigation. Either one would work.
This must be one of the few guilds that doesn't have you do an intro mission.
16. Well, so you get the idea that it's some sort of mark for them. It doesn't, and it looks like it's some sort of stain, like it won't just remove easily, even with magic.
I don't know what the fuck I got into, but I guess this is my life now.
So one guy goes to a gunslinger. One guy goes to a monastery. The other guy gets stuck into a
Fucking
cult.
roofied! I told
Roofied.
you!
Uh,
The weirdest shit happens when you take a drink from a random person at a bar, I tell ya. Why don't they give kids warnings about this?
anyways, so yes. So now so yeah, so you get your clothes back. They are a little marked. And it's not they're not that distinct. Like they do look like they belong on the clothes, but you can tell just by looking at them that they aren't what they used to be. But anybody else would probably wouldn't think any different.
I still can't believe I fell for the candy in the back seat trick.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, it's the guy who rolled. He was like
Of
the
course,
first.
the one dude that I couldn't see starting off the session immediately starts off the session and immediately derails everything.
Not really, not really derails. It just kind of turns into a different kind of story.
Chain, okay,
At least for you.
derailed and landed on like another track, or derailed and landed on another track. I don't know if I cut
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so yeah, so
So I,
she
so
gives
I
your
guess
clothes
I'm a,
back,
so I
and
guess I'm a fucking cultist now.
so yeah, and she also gives you. She also then says she also gives you a robe and says, while you are in our guild, we do ask that you wear one of these, just to also kind of in the respect of
Wait,
our people.
what is it? I didn't.
It is a big black cloak. Really, it's just kind of like what she wears. Just kind of a thing for you to wear to signify that you are part of
Do
their guild now.
do I have to wear it as a cloak?
Yeah, it goes over your other clothes.
Oh, I wanted to wrap it around my waist.
Yeah,
Like
no,
cool dude.
they're specific.
Fine, I guess. If it's life or death.
Yeah. So so and she doesn't turn her head while you're getting dressed or anything. I mean, you're already naked. She's just like another person. This is just like normal to her.
The weird thing is that my guy's acting like it's normal too. Like
If
he
anything is if
he's
any
he is completely used to
yeah
falling asleep and waking up in a completely random
yeah
situation.
it's it's funny because to her it's probably more amusing that you're not afraid by this than it is actually weird. Is I mean, she's got. You could imagine she's probably done this a few times, and she's probably gotten all sorts of weird, different, things. So, the fact that you don't see. Okay, so yes, so you were. So yeah, so she takes you back into the guild, into the a proper guild area, not just the dungeon. which you notice that a lot of the guild is seems to be kind of underground. Like it seems to be a mostly underground place. Um, and there's a lot of undead creatures that are just wandering about. Some with masters near them, some with you don't you don't think they have any sort of master anywhere near them. They're just kind of they're just wandering about. Um, and yeah, but none of them seem particularly hostile. But they're undead, so they still look kind of creepy.
Eh, I've done worse.
Yeah. So she brings you back up to just to a room, and she says, "This room, you'll see look inside here, and it's you see a bunch of different beds, and they look fairly comfortable, although they're built on stone with maybe like a little bit of like um, padding to try and to keep it from being too rough. But I mean, some people seem like they're just sleeping on the stone itself, but some people just some people have some a mattress to kind of or a mattress sort of thing to make it somewhat softer. But the beds are basically just built stone out of the ground. Um, so, and she just points to one of the beds and says, "That one will be yours. That chest that's next to it is basically your dresser. You can put whatever you have in there. I have already put all your other possessions besides your clothes into there. Which is so yeah. You would notice that you have your clothes, but you don't have anything else on you. Um,
I just like the thought because she's rummaging through my stuff, right? I
mhm,
have a ton of like monster and like undead hunting equipment from my haunted background now.
yeah,
So she's just looking through like steak knives and like holy water.
yeah. And she's probably and if anything, that probably proves to her that she needs you anymore ever more because that just means you're you know I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, so she says, "This is your room. This is your bed. There will be other people sleeping here with you. Um, you will have to you'll have to try and get through their snoring. Unfortunately, some of them can be kind of loud, but it is what it is. Um, and then we will lead. If you follow me again, I will lead you to a different area. And you follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you go back out of that room and you wander through some more passageways, and it is really basically just all underground kind of area. So you just go through some tunnels and passageways, and eventually you find yourself in a what looks like a underground like lake, almost. It's entirely stone all the way around it, but there's this big lake that's just kind of in the middle of it. And you can see some people are swimming in it, and there's um, some. You also see some creatures actually kind of some other weird creatures swimming in it, like um, some tentacle looking kind of things. You know, just some weird stuff. Um, and yeah, so you just look around, and she says, "This is our sort of gather room. You can get food over there." She points to a little nook in the area that has like a some cooks and stuff that make some food and drink and whatnot, and you can also get whatever else you need uh, as far as food, drink, anything to entertain yourself with. And of course, we have a lake, so you can swim if you wish. Just don't mind those other creatures in there. They won't bother you as long as you don't bother them.
So out of curiosity, is there such thing as rival guilds? Like, are you despised by a certain group of guild?
Oh, Yeah, but it is what it is. I mean, we are no more different. Who was that?
That
I'm
was
back.
Typler.
Oh, that's Typler.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Typler, you missed a little bit.
Yeah, what I miss?
Uh, I I was forced into a cult.
Nice. Are we still recording?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah. So you are now. So now you. She showed you that, and then finally she goes. She says, "Keep following me," and she leads you out of that area into another tunnels and up a couple ramps and into another room. And this room looks a little bit more formal. It looks kind of like an office of a sort, although it looks a very dark like office. It's like a couple of tombstones that are kind of um, built into chairs. Um, and then you see like a desk that is, it just has that very bony looking kind of undead look to it. Um, and she sits at a chair next to the desk, and she beckons you to another chair. Um, it's a fair when you go to sit down, it's a fairly hard chair. I mean, they don't really cushion it all that much, so it's very stony.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
may I just ask, how in the hell did you turn to necromancy?
I mean, you start you start with a skeleton, then you start get a little further with zombies, and keep going, and eventually you find yourself in a necromancer cult.
So you're a wizard?
Warlock, but
Oh. I can't judge it myself.
yeah. Anyways, yes, I do um I do have a quest, a job for you. Um, and this will help you to get an understanding of exactly what we do, and it might also help you understand that maybe help you understand why we might do what we do. I mean, I won't say that. I mean, you have your opinion. If you don't like what we do, you don't like what we do, and that's up to you. What I will, all I'm going to um, say really uh, is despite what we might have, our undead, we do attempt to do what anybody else is doing here is try to beat the tower. Try to see if we can figure out what runs the tower. What is at the peak. Thing is, the 20th floor isn't even halfway. You should know. People have measured, tried to measure what the inside would be for the outside, and unless it's a different kind of weird dimension, like inside being bigger than the outside kind of weird thing, it doesn't seem like just the height of the inside to the 20th floor isn't even halfway of the tower, which means for all these thousand years, nobody has even an inkling of an idea of how powerful the things near the top are, let alone what's 20th
Has,
level or
any,
whatnot.
has anyone tried climbing the side?
Oh yeah, they usually get shocked by the lightning that hits it.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, and that tower is quite conductive. So if the when the lightning hits, it will shock anything on it. So also, and without climbing actual climbing ability, you will just slip off. There's no actual grip or anything.
Has anyone tried flying over it?
Um, yeah, and a couple people have, but as soon as they get to the top, it has a weird effect. They go to the top, and when they get back down, they don't remember what was up there. So, it seems like the only way to really know is by going up through the tower. It seems to have ways to counter anybody trying to go around.
Damn it, no cheat codes. Oh well, what's the quest?
So, you will follow a couple other necromancers. I will give you a particular item that will help you have your own undead. They won't be, they'll be simple undead. They won't be anything too strong or anything that would overpower you. But they will be. They'll just help you along. And you will then follow these guys. And really, you'll just kind of do what they need you to do. They have their mission in mind. You just need to trust that they know, and then just do what they say. Adapt. That's the best way to describe this mission is learning how to adapt with them.
Oh boy. Sure thing.
Okay. How far they go, where they go, what they do is in their heads. You just adapt, and therefore, yeah, we will be good. Here, let me get you documentation. This will allow you to. This will let them know that you are to follow them. Just kind of think of yourself as their uh, minion, helper, that kind of thing. However, whatever makes you feel better. But just try not to speak out of turn. These particular necromancers, they don't like people who think they know better than them. So you got everything?
I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut because I can tell I'm gonna piss one of them off.
Yeah. So she says, take this to the first. Take this down to the pool room, the one that the one with a big lake in it. And you can give this to the one that calls himself kill. The one that calls himself Kilroy. Um,
I don't know. Out of character, that just reminds me of like Taserface from Guardians of the Galaxy.
uh, um, so
Uh,
okay. I'm just putting the name in the name list. So you have it. So Kilroy. Um, he he will be the you'll probably be able to see him clearly. He's he's a minotaur. Um,
was he the bartender? Oh wait, I wouldn't know that. Never mind.
no, you wouldn't know that, and also probably not. Um, maybe. Um, anyways, so yeah, so you
It's all a conspiracy.
yeah, yeah, Illuminati.
I mean, this pretty much is just like an underground society that I've just joined.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so she gives you that, and you are ready to head off to talk to them or to get them.
Just just making sure it wouldn't be a wise decision to tell people I'm in this guild, right?
She says it doesn't really matter. I mean, people know that this guild does exist, and it is. They don't know exactly where it is. I would say don't try to divulge the location. Although that being said, when you leave, you won't really remember the location anyway, so it won't matter. Um, the only way you'll know to come back is because if you follow, as long as you follow them, the other necromancers. Just
Oh,
don't.
you
You
got some memory wiping magic somewhere
know.
along the way?
Yeah, probably. I mean, this yeah. You'll probably you'll figure it out. You'll understand. Well, maybe not. You probably won't remember. Anyways, she kind of chuckles to herself a little bit and says, "Well, um, I think that's all I have to say. Uh, Congratulations on joining, and I hope to see you later." And she then gives you a nod and kind of you, and then kind of waves you out.
Uh, so just checking. I probably missed it. Do I need to look for this Kilroy dude like right now, or is this something that I can do
From
when
the
I?
way she never said it exactly, but from the way she was talking, you could get the sense. You could clearly get the sense that she was, it's a kind of a impertinent kind of thing. Like it's something you need to do quite soon.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I have no clue where I am. I don't know anyone here except for Kilroy, I guess. So I might as well just look for Kilroy.
Okay. So I mean, you know the path back down to the lake, anyways. I mean, she did obviously show you the paths. So you get back to the lake with no problem really. And then and then you get into this underground lake and look around, and there does seem to be a couple of minotaurs, but you can get the in this place, but uh, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do to try and figure out who's who.
Uh, I'm gonna just go up and say, are any of y'all Kilroy?
You immediately you see one look right to you and kind of towers over you, and he does try and make himself look intimidating as all possible. And he says, "Who's asking?"
Uh, the person who just talked to your, I think, leader. She told me that I'm
You talked to
working with you.
you were the one by Master Grog.
I'm pretty sure that's what she called herself. Yeah.
Yes, well that's the master of this guild. Yes. So you are. Let me see your paper.
Uh, I hand it over to him. Maybe a little bit wet. It's not. I tried to keep it above water, but I mean, we're in a lake, aren't we?
No, you're not in the lake.
Or
There's land around it.
oh, he's just standing outside. I thought that
Yeah.
like the sort of.
He's not
Oh,
in. He's not swimming in the lake. No, no, no. He's on
well
the
then.
like on.
Well then.
There is like a stone coastline, if you will,
Uh,
on around it.
well then, never mind all that. I just hand him the note.
Yeah. So yeah. So you. Yeah. So he as soon you like bring up the note to him, and he just like snakes it out of your hand, like just he doesn't seem to have any manners whatsoever. Um, and he just like grabs it out of your hands and says, let's see this. Okay, looks legit. Well, I guess you're a part of our group. You will you will stay behind us. Don't get lost. And when I tell you to do something, you better do it.
Just curious, does he have any scars?
None that you can see, but then again, he has a lot of fur.
Uh, mean, sure thing. I don't even
And
know where. I don't even know where the hell I am. You're pretty
well,
much the only
you won't
person
know,
who's
and you
hanging out
won't
here.
know. This place won't let you know until we know for sure that you'll keep the secret. Anyways, that's enough of that. I will talk to you when I decide to talk to you. And then he turns and talks to somebody else. So yeah, so now you are here behind this um, Minotaur acting like his minion,